Hey everyone, today we're going to be unboxing and taking a closer look at this Gigabyte X570 Aorus Elite Wi-Fi gaming motherboard that I picked up. We'll open it up, see what's in the box, as well as we'll take a closer look at the components on the motherboard itself. But hey, if you're new here, my name is Ken. This is Northern Viking Everyday, and we bring you videos on reviews and how-tos, so please consider subscribing so you don't miss out on any upcoming videos. Let's go ahead and dive right into this Gigabyte motherboard. So the Gigabyte X570 Aorus Elite Wi-Fi Gaming Motherboard. I did pick this up from the store. I will put a link below in the description if you do want to grab one for yourself or if you want some more specifications on this motherboard. Now this motherboard has an AM4 socket compatible with 2000 series, 3000 series, and with a BIOS update, it is compatible with the 5000 series. I do happen to have a Ryzen 7 5800X here that I am going to be using with this motherboard, but I will have to flash the BIOS on this motherboard, so that'll probably be my next video if you want to look for that in the upcoming days. Now on the box itself, it does say it is PCIe 4.0 ready. It's got RGB Fusion 2.0 as well as Smart Fan 5. So on the back of the box, it says it has a 12+ 2-phase digital VRM solution with DrMOS, advanced thermal design, PCIe 4.0 ready, faster and better coverage with Intel's dual band 802.11ac Wi-Fi plus a Bluetooth 4.2 module. It's got RGB Fusion 2.0 as well as BIOS QFlash Plus, Smart Fan 5.0 with fan stop, a thermal guard on board for one of your M.2 drives, WiMA high-end audio capacitors, as well as it's got CFOS speed internet accelerator and an ultra durable PCIe metal shielding on one of your PCIe slots. So let's go ahead and open up the box. We'll show you what's in there, then we'll give you some close-ups of the motherboard itself. So once you open it up, you can see the motherboard's in there in one of those electronic bags. We'll go ahead and pull that out and we'll take a closer look at that in a moment, but there it is for you. Just put that aside. And there is a kind of a cardboard container in here that holds that. I'll just pull that out. And let's have a look at what's in here. First thing I see is the Wi-Fi antenna. So one of the reasons I bought this motherboard is the Wi-Fi antenna isn't just two antennas that sticks up behind the computer. It's actually on a cord, so I can move the antenna, maybe put it on top. I'm quite a ways away from my Wi-Fi router, so I wanted a good antenna that I can move around to get the best signal. So that's the Wi-Fi antenna. It looks like there is a multilingual installation guide. Looks like some instructions to get you started in there, as well as a X570 Aorus Elite kind of user manual with lots of information. And it looks like there's a CD in there. If you still have one of those, you can use that. All sorts of information about your motherboard, everything you need to know right in there. A few more little bags here. So looks like there's 2 bags of Sata Cable. So there's 4 Sata cables in there, and it looks like a couple of them have the 90-degree bends on them. So that's super handy. I like those. It helps you hide the cables when you're building a computer. Got a little bag here. What's this? The 6 connector. It's called, I said 6 connector, G connector. It's called a G connector in there. I'll give you a close-up of that right now as well when I pull that out. As well as there's a couple extra screws for your M.2 drive in there as well. And one last thing, the most important part, your Aorus sticker. So let's pull out the motherboard and then I'll give you some close-ups of that as well. So just open up the bag there and slide that out. And there it is right there. Fancy dancy. I like the look of that one. Backside. So let's take a closer look at the motherboard itself. We'll start out with the main components and then move on to the main connectors and headers, which are mostly located around the perimeter of the motherboard. Starting at the top with the 12+ 2-phase IR digital VRM solution with DrMOS, you can see that here. You're also going to see the large heat sinks right around the outside of it here. So large heat sinks right there. Over here, you're going to see the AM4 socket that supports Ryzen 1000, 2000, 3000, and 5000 series CPUs. And it's always a good idea to double check on the Gigabyte website that the CPU you're planning on using will work with this motherboard. Let me show you how the little arm works. So you can push on it here and it lifts up and put your CPU in place gently, and you can easily lower the arm right back down into place. Over here you'll see the 4 DIMM slots for dual channel DDR4, supporting up to 128 gigabytes with a single DIMM capacity of 32 gigabytes. Right here you'll see the smart chipset fan heatsink that provides 3 different operating modes to minimize noise and extend the fan's longevity, and Gigabyte guarantees 60,000 working hours on this. Over here it says amp up audio. This motherboard has ALC 1200 audio and noise guard, plus it has high-end capacitors. Let's have a quick look at the PCIe card slots. You've got one PCIe 16 slot with metal shielding for support. This is where you would want to mount your video card. Use this slot for your video card. Right next to it, you've got the PCIe 4 slot, as well as 2 PCIe 1 slots. Let's have a quick look at the M.2 ports. We've got dual M.2 connectors. One of them has a thermal guard on it, and you can see that the second one is on the other side of the PCIe slot, and that one does not have the thermal guard on it. This is great if you want to mount dual NVMe drives on your motherboard. Over here on the side, you can see the I/O shield is integrated onto the motherboard. For the connectors, I have a mic input, a line out, a line in, a C-sub, a rear speaker, as well as an optical out. Here's the LAN port. It has the CFOS speed internet accelerator. You can also see 2 USB 3.1 slots, which are red in color. It has 4 USB 3.0 slots, which are blue in color. One has white in it, which is the USB port you would use when flashing the BIOS. So that's the one you would use right there. We have one HDMI port if your CPU has a graphics processor on it, 2 connectors for your external antenna, as well as 4 more standard USB ports. Taking a closer look at the headers and connections on this motherboard, starting at the top, we have the System Fan 1 connector, and right beside that is the ATX 12 volt connector. Right here next to the RAM, we have the CPU optional and the CPU fan headers. And on the side, you'll see the 2 LED headers as well. There's also the large ATX main connector right in this area. Further down the side of the motherboard, you'll see 6 SATA ports just off to the side. And on the bottom, you will see the F panel slots, including all of the headers for the front USB ports. There's one TPM header in this area, as well as the Q flash button with a tiny LED light. You'll also see 2 LED ports and 1 front audio header right in this area. Right next to the M.2 thermal guard, you'll see 2 small connectors, the first one being the LED CPU connector, and the second one is the system fan connector. Here's a quick image of the motherboard from the top. And I'll flip it over so you can have a quick look at the bottom as well. So I hope you enjoyed unboxing and taking a closer look at this Gigabyte X570 Aorus Elite Wi-Fi gaming motherboard with me today. If you did like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. Also remember to connect with me on social media. You will find all those links below in the description. Thank you so much for watching today, and until next time, take care.